Welcome back to Donington Park. Round 10 of the 2018 Radical SR1 Cup is ready to go around the 2.5 mile Grand Prix circuit. So let's have a look at the way that the grid lines up. Ryan Harper-Ellam's on pole position with James Pinkerton alongside. Row 2 of the grid is Patrick Lay and Shane Stoney. Row 3, Chris Short and Will Hunt with Dean Warriner and Simon Anderson on row number 4. And row 5 is Ross Elliott and Mark Williams. That's the top 5 rows of the grid. The safety car is already about to peel its way into the pit lane. We're about to get round 10 of the championship underway. Ryan Harper-Ellam, who retired from yesterday's race, keen to make amends from it. His main championship rival, James Pinkerton, however, sits alongside him. Lights go out. They charge their way up towards Redgate Corner for the first time. Ryan Harper-Ellam looking to try and hang on to the lead of the race. He's got his nose ahead as they head up towards Redgate Corner. Side by side for second and third, though. James Pinkerton has got Shane Stoney trying to go round the outside. Stoney bounces over the grass and the curbs on the exit of the corner, which are now substantively drier than they were earlier on, so it cost him a little bit of time, but not as much as it would have done in the damp conditions that we had for round 9 of the championship. So Ryan Harper-Ellam leads the race. James Pinkerton is there in second place, and it looks as though it's Patrick Lay that's now up into third place with Shane Stoney in fourth. And a great start by Mark Williams sees his car up into 5th place. He started 10th on the grid. That was a staggering start. That's the lighter blue and darker blue car that's just off the tail end of this little leading quartet that work their way up towards the blind entry. Right-hander at Coppice Corner. It's Ryan Harper-Ellam that leads the race. He's got James Pinkerton, his main championship rival, right behind him in second position. Then it's Patrick Lay in third place, Shane Stoney in fourth place. It is, without question, it's Mark Williams that's there in 5th place. A great start from him. Shane Stoney jinking around to try and disturb Patrick Lay's attention. That's not going to work as they head through the left and right flicks at the chicane that bring them onto the Grand Prix loop here at Donington Park. So the top 4 just getting away from the 5th place car of Mark Williams, who is the leading rookie in this early stage of the race still. There is the lighter blue and darker blue number 18 car that sits there in 5th position. So it's still 4 for the lead, but they've sort of paired off a little bit now. Ryan Harper-Ellam leads from James Pinkerton. Patrick Lay under pressure from Shane Stoney still. We've seen him racing in the GT5 Challenge, Shane Stoney. His father was a very good kart racer back in the 80s and the 1990s, but Shane Stoney has also been a champion in the Mini Challenge in the Cooper class for the normally aspirated cars. Shane Stoney still sitting there in 4th place. He's got the race winner from earlier on, Patrick Lay, sitting ahead of him in the final podium spot at the moment. They flick their way out of Redgate and onto the top of Hollywood, down through the Craner curves. The leading pair just getting away ever more now, Ryan Harper-Ellam and James Pinkerton, who have been pretty much equally matched all season, really. It's just that James Pinkerton has had the consistency. He has finished on the podium in every single race so far this season, whereas for Ryan Harper-Ellam, he posted his 2nd retirement of the season in the earlier race, round 9 of the championship that we had here at Donington Park. So that's put a bit of a dint in his championship hopes. Here's the number 5 car of Peter Devlin, the man from Leicestershire, the business consultant, so very much at his home circuit this weekend. The leading pair just stretching their legs out of Coppice Corner, still the same order. Ryan Harper-Ellam still continuing to lead, the man from Brackley, the man who is looking to try and close the deficit that exists between himself and James Pinkerton in terms of the championship. And there is still the fight for 3rd and 4th place. Patrick Lay, there is no let-up in the pressure that's being applied by the number 89 car in the hands of Shane Stoney. Nothing doing now as they head in towards the braking area for the Melbourne hairpin, so Shane Stoney has to be content with just sitting behind Patrick Lay for the moment, the race winner from earlier on. They stretch their legs up towards the conclusion of yet another lap, and this is down at the Melbourne hairpin. That is Stuart Mosley losing out, I think, there to Dean Warriner, and also under pressure from Ross Elliott and the number 17 car in the hands of Gavin McAlpine. A good little fight that's going on further down through the order. Stuart Mosley, a hugely experienced Radical racer, but is starting off the back of the grid in both of today's races and had to retire from the race earlier on. So the leading 4 up towards Redgate Corner. The white car but with the black helmet, Shane Stoney pressing on, still looking to try and hang on to the coattails of Patrick Lay. Nice and easy to pick out his sort of Dayglow yellow and Dayglow orange helmet as he propels the car down through the daunting Craner curves. These 1340cc Suzuki engine cars using all of the 182 brake horsepower. They're rapid little machines as well. 0 to 60s just 3.5 seconds. And they top out just shy of 140 miles per hour. 138 miles per hour is the top speed of these cars. So the race leaders still pressing on. Ryan Harper-Ellam still out front. James Pinkerton still trying to hunt him down in 2nd place. However, 3rd and 4th or that little bit closer. Patrick Lay cannot shake away Shane Stoney and is having to defend this time as they head up towards the braking area for the chicane. Patrick Lay still hangs on to 3rd place. Shane Stoney hugely keen to try and unlock the door to a podium spot if he can, but nothing doing at the moment. Patrick Lay is having none of it. Race leading pair in towards the Melbourne hairpin. Here comes the squabble for third and fourth place. Patrick Lay still by his fingertips clinging onto the place. Nice and neat and tidy driving, no, despite all of the pressure. He's not making a mistake. Further down through the order, this is Dean Warriner looking to squeeze his way through and past Will Hunt, and he's made it stick as well, so place gained for Dean Warriner. And now he's on the coattails of a train of cars, so he might be able to pick off a few more places if at all he can. Mark Williams is the man under pressure here. The Scotsman has got Chris Short right behind him, and Stuart Moseley at the wheel of the 00 car is trying to get in on the mix as well. Race leading pair already, safely onto the top of Hollywood and down through the Craner curves. Patrick Lay still having a big squabble with Shane Stoney over what is third and fourth position, but there's no change for that order as yet. It's all very busy up at Redgate Corner by the look of things. A huge train of cars working their way down through the Craner curves. And that includes Mark Williams, who's going to lose out here. That is, I think, Stuart Moseley that's gone through. Indeed it is. Stuart Moseley, the hugely experienced driver. He raced the Radical SR9 works car at Le Mans some years ago and is having his first outing really in the SR1 Cup for fun more than anything this weekend, and he's now gone through to the front of that pack, having opted to start off the very, very back of the grid. Ryan Harper-Ellam still leads the race, but the gap I think has come down a shade more over the course of the last few laps as number 22 James Pinkerton looks to try and close the deficit. We've still got this good fight between Patrick Lay and Shane Stoney going on for what is third and fourth place, but so far Shane Stoney is rather frustratingly having to hang on to fourth position. He's not really had an opportunity to throw one up the inside of Patrick Lay, so the leading pair go through. James Pinkerton just sliding the car round through the Melbourne hairpin that time through these ever-drying conditions. Patrick Lay and Shane Stoney still rolling their sleeves up and slugging it out over third and fourth position as they turn their way on towards a conclusion of another lap. And this is the battle as Mark Williams dives up the inside of Chris Short very, very late on the brakes, got up the inside, but then loses 2 places on the exit of the corner. This is the battle towards the bottom of the top 6 for places all the way down to just outside of the top 10 by the look of things. Great little fight that's going on, and we're side by side at the tail end of that as well. Number 21 Will Hunt looking to try and squeeze his way through and past, and has managed to do so. Ross Elliott by the look of things. So here comes that train of, what is it, 6 cars and then a gap and then another 2 thereafter. We're 3 wide further back as Mark Williams, Will Hunt and Ross Elliott all get together. The Scotsman Mark Williams comes out at the front of that little trio of cars. Ross Elliott is side by side with Will Hunt onto the top of the Craner curves. Who's going to grab the advantage? Is it Ross Elliott? It looks as though it might be down through the Craner curves, but then down towards the bottom of it, Will Hunt steals the advantage. He's able to squeeze his way back through. Great racing, and that's just let Mark Williams off the hook a little bit there. He was busy squabbling with that pair. He's been able to escape whilst they were side by side through the Craner curves. The gap between first and second, I think, is coming down. It's not by a huge amount, but Ryan Harper-Ellam is not getting away from James Pinkerton, who is doing everything here to try and keep his main championship rival as close as he possibly can to him. Now remember, Ryan Harper-Ellam retired at round 9 of the championship earlier on this weekend. That was his second retirement of the season, whereas for that car there, number 22 James Pinkerton, he's been Mr. Consistency, either winning, finishing second or third in every race so far this year. Here's the great fight that I was talking about. Mark Williams, Will Hunt, Ross Elliott, then it looks as though it's Sven Thompson or David Thompson, then the number 77 car of Simon Anderson that's looking to try and tack his way onto the back end, but for the moment the man from Telford in Shropshire is just that little bit too far away, so they all turn their way round through the right-hand hairpin down at the Melbourne hairpin and then start to accelerate the way up towards the left-hand hairpin, which is Goddard off camber, so it falls away as you start to turn the car in towards the corner, so it's easy to run wide, and Mark Williams is having to do a very good job here of making sure he drives as wide a Radical SR1 as he possibly can. You can see just how close it is. He's got cars queuing up behind him, the first of which is number 21 Will Hunt, the next of which is Ross Elliott. Is the order going to shuffle as they head up towards Redgate Corner? No, it's still Williams from Hunt, from then Ross Elliott, then it's David, or Sven Thompson as he's also known, and then the next of the cars is going to be Simon Anderson. You can see them all, that little pack, almost together now. It's sort of 3 and then another couple just that little bit further adrift, but the squabbling, I think, without question, will bring them into the mix as well. So great fights going on all the way down through the order this weekend in the Radical SR1 Cup. Round 10 of the championship, and look at the battle for the lead of the race. I said it was closing up, and now Ryan Harper-Ellam absolutely knows that the race is on. James Pinkerton is now within touching distance, looks to try and take a wider sweep in towards the chicane to try and give him a bit more momentum on the exit of the corner. Ryan Harper-Ellam will no doubt move over to the right hand side of the circuit to protect the inside line here in the braking area for the hairpin. So James Pinkerton thinks, okay, I'll try around the outside, but he almost outbrakes himself there, loses a little bit of time as he's so keen to get on the brakes as late as he possibly can, and that that actually cost him a little bit of time and has dropped him back away. That hard work he'd done to catch the race leader has all been undone in just a split second of a moment down there at the Melbourne hairpin. Ryan Harper-Ellam presses on over the start-finish line. He will go. He continues to lead the race here at Donington Park on the Grand Prix circuit. James Pinkerton in second position. We've still got Patrick Lay sitting there in third place at the moment and Shane Stoney in fourth, but they've fallen a long way adrift as James Pinkerton makes another mistake coming out of Redgate corner onto the top of Hollywood, just overdriving the car at this stage. He's desperate to try and catch up, but he's making just a few too many mistakes and that's costing him time. Mark Williams is also now looking to try and squeeze his way through and past Gavin McAlpine, and is he going to be able to do so? Gavin McAlpine was a little bit slower coming round through that corner. The two of them are pretty much together now heading down in towards Redgate corner. Gavin McAlpine, you can see the yellow and the green flashes on his crash helmet. The blue car with its lighter blue flashes is Mark Williams. Further down through the order, there's number 77 Simon Anderson, who has now also managed to almost catch fully onto the tail end of the car ahead. The man who's under pressure at the moment is Mark Williams. He's got Ross Elliott right behind him, the Gen 2 car just heading the Gen 1 machine. Down through the Craner curves they'll go. Mark Williams bouncing the car off the apex curve there at the old hairpin in his efforts to try and get as much momentum as he can heading back up the hill towards Schwantz curve. The meantime, race leaders are just heading around through the Melbourne hairpin. James Pinkerton seems to have gathered his thoughts a little bit more now and has started to push and close the gap again on Ryan Harper-Ellam. Of course, he outbraked himself down at the Melbourne hairpin a lap or so ago, then had a bit of a moment heading round through Redgate corner. He's tidied things up again. There's a back marker, that's Peter Devlin just up the road, that could come into the mix here as they head on towards the conclusion of the lap. And here, by the look of things, there's a change of order. Ross Elliott is now the number 52 car ahead of Mark Williams, and Mark Williams is coming under pressure from the number 99 machine in the hands of David Thompson. Let's see what the man who runs and owns Nielsen Racing can do. He looks to try and squeeze his way up the inside at the Melbourne hairpin, and great driving by David Thompson. Sven is through. He gains the place over Mark Williams, who cannot do anything now other than see whether he can try and hang on to the coattails of the number 99 machine. Brakes as late as he can through Goddard's corner, but I don't think he's even going to have quite enough as he heads onto the start-finish line to try and re-attack by the look of things. So down towards the braking area for Redgate corner they'll go. There's number 52 Ross Elliott. There is David Thompson, who has one thrown up the inside of him by the Scotsman. He's instantly back through again. Mark Williams, not content to stay where he was, instantly retakes the place back away from David Thompson, and now this is also allowing the next of the cars behind to close in, and that's the number 21 car in the hands of Will Hunt, who is now looking to try and get in the mix. And also Simon Anderson has latched himself onto the tail end of this little quartet. We've seen some great fights all the way down through the order all weekend, and it's not still resolved yet, not down through the order or at the very front of the pack, because Ryan Harper-Ellam is still under pressure from James Pinkerton as they charge their way up the hill and up towards Goddard's corner. Another lap very shortly about to be completed. They keep ticking off these laps. There's not many more to go now, but it is Ryan Harper-Ellam that has led every single one of them so far. James Pinkerton is back within touching distance of the race leader. These two, no worries about slowing each other up because the cars behind are a long way adrift. There is Patrick Lay. He's now very much on his own in third position. Fourth place is still Shane Stoney. He's just picking his way through past Peter Devlin's car to place a lap on it as they come over the start-finish line. And that's easily done by Shane Stoney, so he can now start to just press on again. He equally as much has a lot of daylight between himself and the car that sits there in fifth place. Simon Anderson looking to attack Will Hunt down at the Melbourne hairpin. Can't quite manage to squeeze the number 77 car ahead of it on the way into the corner. Can he do it on the way out is the big question. Side by side up towards Goddard's, but the number 21 car of Will Hunt, the rookie in the championship, has the inside line and therefore should be able to hang on to the place by the look of things. Further down through the order, this is Chris Short fighting away with number 61 Dean Warrener. So this is places towards the bottom of the top six currently, or just outside. They carve their way through the old hairpin as the race leaders are already heading down the straight and in towards the section of the Donington Park Grand Prix circuit once more. Still daylight between Ryan Harper-Ellam and James Pinkerton. James Pinkerton has thrown everything at it to try and close the deficit once more, but hasn't as yet fully re-caught the race leader, and he's running out of time in which to do so. The laps are ticking off. There's still a few more to go as yet, but James Pinkerton needs to catch and then needs to work out where, if at all, he might be able to pass if he wants to prevent Ryan Harper-Ellam from claiming a victory. That would be his 6th victory of the season if he could hang on to it, whereas for James Pinkerton, he's had 3 wins so far. If he could claim the win, it would be win number 4 for him. The gap between 1st and 2nd, though, actually looks to be going the wrong way as Ryan Harper-Ellam starts to push on once more and just make sure that he can control the race from the front. James Pinkerton in 2nd place. You can see the duct tape put on the front of his car following that small incident between himself and Ryan Harper-Ellam in race number 1. Sliding his way through the Melbourne hairpin is Dean Warrener, still in his efforts to try and catch Chris Short, but at the moment the number 11 car is still hanging on to the place. So there goes Chris Short at the wheel of the number 11 machine, the Wolverhampton-based CEO, under pressure from Dean Warrener, who we've seen racing in the Lotus UK Cup previously. Dean new to the championship earlier on this season. Finished 6th in the race earlier on over the course of the weekend here at Donington Park, and looking to try and close in on that car that sits ahead of him. Nice and neat and tidy, using all of the curves, but no more coming out of Redgate Corner. So on to the top of Hollywood. They carve their way down through the Craner curves and will continue their battle. And this is also a battle that's going on. This is number 99 David Thompson, still under pressure from Simon Anderson, the number 77 car, looking to see what he might be able to do, but the Shropshire-based driver still for the moment just has to be content with sitting behind the man who owns and runs Nielsen Racing. So race leaders already pressing on. Traffic to be dealt with for Ross Elliott as well, who's also about to put a lap on Peter Devlin. So the 2 Gen 1 cars now a lap adrift from each other. Here is number 79 Ryan Harper-Ellam, our race leader, always opening up the gap now between himself and James Pinkerton, who doesn't seem to have much response really to the pace that Ryan Harper-Ellam has at this stage of the race. He's about to place a lap on David Tagg and is now heading on to his final lap of the race. Quick flash of the lights. David Tagg, a good chunk of experience in the Radical SR1 Cup, moves out of the way. The London-based solicitor allows the race leader to go through, and now it is, what, 2 and a bit miles really between Ryan Harper-Ellam and what would be win number 6 of the season. We saw him claim a double win at Snetterton. He claimed a win at Silverstone. He took 2 wins last time out at Cadwell Park, Ryan Harper-Ellam, which really got his championship back where it needed to be. But that retirement earlier on this weekend has put him right back to where he was again. He's playing catch-up, and he knows that over James Pinkerton. A race win and 5 extra points is just what he needs as we leave Donington Park, and then we'll head to Brands Hatch in Kent for the final 2 races of the season. They take place in a few months' time, the 10th of November, when we're down at Brands Hatch in Kent. So our race leader Ryan Harper-Ellam still pressing on, still battles to be resolved though out on circuit down through the Craner curves. This is Chris Short, is it not, that is under pressure still from Dean Warrener. Dean Warrener looking to try and squeeze his way through. And also look at this fight that's going on. Simon Anderson, David Thompson, then it's Will Hunt as well. They all still need to work out as to exactly who's going to finish where as well, down towards places towards the bottom of the top 10. But it looks as though the race win is going to go the way of this man here, Ryan Harper-Ellam, on course for win number 6 of the season. Retirement yesterday, back with a bounce to win today at Donington Park. He heads out of Goddard's Corner up towards the checkered flag, which is being ready for him. Ryan Harper-Ellam wins round 10 of the 2018 Radical SR1 Cup. 2nd place will go the way of James Pinkerton, but he's some way adrift in the end. Such was the pace that Ryan Harper-Ellam ultimately had at the end of the race. It's James Pinkerton that only now will come over the start-finish line and finish in 2nd place, some 5 seconds adrift. It looks as though Patrick Lay and Shane Stoney are heading for 3rd and 4th, but this is the battle for 5th and 6th place. Chris Short under pressure from Dean Warrener, who's looking to squeeze his way through, then locks the brakes and rotates the number 61 car round through 360 degrees. So Chris Short should finish in 5th, but then spins coming out of Goddard's, and I think he's made contact with the pit wall there as well. He hooks up a gear, he'll get the car going. There's damage to the tail end of it, but Chris Short does limp over the start-finish line and finish in 5th to claim the rookie win as well. Ross Elliott was in 6th, ahead of Simon Anderson in 7th, and Mark Williams in 8th. Will Hunt was 9th, and David Thompson in the end completed the top 10. What a race for round 10 of the championship. Let's chat to race winner Ryan Harper-Ellam.
The best kind of result we could hope for, you know, coming from a disappointing race 1. Yeah, it's nice to leave on a high after a bit of a low. So yeah, really good.
We had a good race, always within fighting distance. Tried to make a few moves up the back, so I knew I was getting there. Yeah, it was good. Tyres were getting a little bit hot at the end, and managed to get a false neutral out the chicane, out the hairpin. But apart from that, yeah, it was a mega race. Good fun.
It's a good weekend overall. It was obviously nice to win the first race. It was a good surprise. But I think we chose the wet rather than the dry tyre for the second race. So a bit of a gamble, but it didn't quite pay off. But nonetheless, we'll take 3rd place in the second race.
Great, I'm really happy to be first rookie, so especially after my first race where I didn't finish. So yeah, just got it over the line. Hit the pit wall at the end, but
Yes, what happened there?
I don't know. I had somebody tried to take me on the inside and just got on the gas too early and just couldn't hold it.